You can ask them for signs. You can ask them for dreams. You can ask them to show you that they are with you. You to feel them. You feel them. It's the truth, but then your head comes in and it's like, oh my God, is it real? Is it not? And it's because you've been taught to listen to the world around you more than you listen to your inner wisdom. You know what is best for you.
This is Reclaim Your Magic. Welcome back to Reclaim Your Magic. My guest today is Ana Maria Pineda. She is an astrologer, a psychic, and most importantly, she talks to angels. We're going to talk all about angels. Do you have them? Why you have them? Where they come from? How to connect with them? So, without further ado, let's dive into the magic. So, were you just like in the kitchen one day having snacks and you look up and there are angels across from you being like, hey, we have a question, we have an answer, we have help here? Like, how did your story unfold?
Well, it really begins before I was even born. Yeah. So my mom almost lost me, and she went to a church and she prayed, and she basically kind of asked God, give me my daughter. And I was born on a significant holy day, and she felt that that was an answer from God. And so I grew up knowing that I came here for a reason. And when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a nun. I was always, I would fall into prayer in different places. Like I have a memory of going into a bank and seeing angels surrounding a tree. And I went and I started praying. And there was always just something a little bit weird or different about me. I remember telling my mom when I was little, whenever I had a pain, I could heal the pain with my hands. I would tell her, all I need to do is get my hands to be warm and place them on me, and the pain goes away. And I recall also spending hours at night alone, looking at the stars. That's why I'm an astrologer too, listening. And I knew that they were watching me, and I knew that they were holding me. It wasn't verbal, but there was like an understanding, and I always felt energized. And the moment that I actually heard verbatim, the first time that I can recall, by the way, an angel, I've had way more moments than that. The one time that I heard the actual words begin, as I hear you to speak, was I was a teenager, and I had a boyfriend at the time, and he took a wrong route, and he went against the way of the street. And I had the bad habit at that time of putting my feet on the dashboard. And I heard who I now know was Archangel Michael stand to my right and say, sit down straight now. Something like that, he said, sit down straight now. As soon as I heard him, I knew who he was. I sat up, and a car hit us. The whole front of the car caved in. He and I walked untouched, and so did the other person, if I'm not mistaken. I had never experienced eternity in a moment. I felt it then. And my life was never really the same after that. My spiritual calling just continued from that moment on. And it was just a series of things. I believe that we're all here on earth for a reason. We all have a calling, and that calling is very unique to each of us. And I was being called since I was little. I didn't know it. And it was I remember one day waiting at a bus, and somebody sat next to me. And it was a person that had the power to give me a room to teach. And I remember talking to her and talking about spirituality and stuff. And I remember telling her, I just need a space, to teach. And she said, well, you got it. And so I started teaching meditation. And I was young, teaching very older people than me.
How old were you?
I want to say like 17, 18, something like that. I remember going into the room the first time and being like freaked out at like people being older than me, thinking like, who the hell am I? But now around that period of time, sorry, I don't mean to be jumping over, but I think it kind of matters. Around that period of time, there was a teacher that I had. I don't even recall what grade that was, but I remember walking by his office, and I came in, and I was talking a lot about myself or something like that. And he stopped me and he said, it's not about you. It's about what you're here to give. And that was a big wake up call to me, because at that moment in time, it really broke my ego. And
Hmm.
I got out of the way and I just said, okay, God, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
But professionally, it began when I was working at a nonprofit organization and I had piles of paper and stuff and it just kept getting worse. And I prayed. I went to the bathroom one day and I prayed to God and I said, okay, I know I'm not supposed to do this. I know you're telling me I need to be somewhere else. I don't know what that is. So I give this to you. Show me the way. I was fired. And on the day when I was fired, I remember crying out of happiness to the woman and thinking like, oh my God, God set me free.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I began my profession. I
Wow.
went to a local spiritual store and I said, this is what I do. I speak to angels. And it just started a whole
Oh
journey.
my gosh.
So
Okay.
and
So
here
wait,
we are.
I have so many questions.
I
Okay.
know it's a lot, right? It's a lot. I
Yeah.
know.
Okay. So how old were you when you were at the nonprofit and you were freed?
I honestly don't remember. It was in my 20s.
In your 20s. Okay. Okay. But
It
this
was in my
happens.
20s.
It's interesting how it happens like this because, the other thing that's really interesting about the story that predates your birth onto the earth is that it was a near death experiences always seem to happen to people with these gifts. Like, what is that? Why do you guys need to like almost die? And sometimes many times. Like, what is that?
You just made me recall, I should have shared this story too. When I was little, I actually fell from a car. I fell from a car because my mom
A
was making
moving
a
car?
turn. Yes, a moving car. I was in kindergarten. And I remember, I never forget, it was a pickup truck that my dad had. And I remember reaching my tiny little hand, reaching for the door because the door had opened and I fell and the car went over me and I was untouched. And I remember that was actually one of the first times that I saw the angel. So I was like, what, like five, seven? No, 5, 6, something like that. And I remember laying down on the bed and I remember looking at the people watching me and I remember looking at the angels looking at me and I knew that I was okay. And
Wow.
I now know that they're angels.
Yeah.
Like
At
it's,
5. Oh my gosh. I mean, my daughter
yeah,
is 5 right now. It makes me wonder sometimes what they see.
they
Uh,
do. So
mhm.
imaginary friends are not imaginary friends.
Right. They're angels.
And if
Mhm.
you really ask, children also have memories of past lives
Yes. Yes,
very easily. Yep.
this is so true. I know that my oldest son has had a memory that he has shared with me before. Yeah.
See?
Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Well, the veil is a lot thinner when you're younger too, seemingly, right?
Yeah.
But why do you think that people who, I have you in my life and I have others who have similar beautiful gifts and they all have these near death experiences? And I'm like, I don't know if I should be hanging out with you guys. Am I going to have to go through this too? Or like, why is it that people who seem to be able to experience other realms or the unseen, why is it that they always seemingly have these near death experiences?
Well, what I'm hearing from the angels that is not so. Sometimes a discretion on their part is made, is what I heard.
Okay.
Sometimes a discretion on their part is made where they must interfere in the free will of the life in order to keep the soul here, because the soul has asked to be here. And in the doing of that, the veil does thin a bit. So it makes it easier for people to hear. In my experience, for example, with teaching people how to connect to their angels, but also in giving readings, as you know, what I've noticed is that people that have encountered death, not only for themselves but also people around them having died, the veil is thinner. They're able to feel their angels and guides, and also the people that have crossed much more easier because they're at that threshold of the other side. So whenever we stand at the threshold of the other side, there is a thinning of the veil, and the veil does exist for a purpose. It is there to protect us. It is there for us to be able to stay here on earth and learn our spiritual lessons. If our angels and guides walked with us, what would be the point of learning? We would just be asking them questions. We would just be like, is he the right guy? Is this the career for me? Is this, so where would you be learning? The whole point is for us to find the wisdom within and the truth within and to live from that space of truth.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And it does. There is such a desire, I think, sometimes for people to want to learn how to speak to their angels or their guides because they do want all the right answers. But the reality is that you still have free will. You need to make the choices. They can guide you a little bit. In my experience, have never told me go left, go right when it comes to like a purpose or a career move. When it comes to a safety thing like you were talking about, sure. But I haven't had the experience of getting full clear answers with this, magic glass ball.
You can get clear answers if that is allowed.
Ah, who decides if it's allowed?
God and you.
So does that come back to our soul's purpose and like why we came here and what we're trying to learn? And if it serves that mission in a positive way, clear answers are given.
The most important work that we can do is know ourselves. Just like the scribe on the Delphi Oracle, know thyself. Know who you are, but at the core of your being. So not just the extent of the personality and the ego, but the true self, the deepest self, the innermost self, the soul.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And I cannot believe you just said the Delphi Oracle either, because I remember rocking in a chair in my living room a year and a half ago, and Delphi came in, and I'm like, what is Delphi? I don't even know what this is. And it's taken a while, but now here we are, and now I know what it is. And that was the beginning of that journey for me to really sort of unpack who I am at this point in my life.
That's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
So you were called in.
Yeah. Wow. That's really beautiful. And, to go back to what you were saying too, when you found that teacher who said, this isn't about you. I think that's so interesting because I have heard through other people who have these gifts, obviously, it would be very easy to take that gift and to, make your ego huge. Like, I know all, I know everything,
Lord, no.
But it would be easy. It would be an easy trap to fall into, I think. Right. And so to have that like constant reminder, and I'm sure if someone doesn't show you, I'm sure the angels would show you or whomever it is, like just a reminder, you're here for a purpose and we're giving you this gift so that you can excel in that purpose. It's not here to have a person feel like a godlike complex.
Good Lord, no. My experience has been the total opposite. Having had this gift since I was a kid, I felt very alone and very different.
Yeah.
So there was no sense of God complex. Plus the knowingness, and I'm speaking only from my own experience of them. My dream would be that every human being understand that they're not alone, that they see that every animal, every tree, everything created in the universe is guarded and protected and held and spoken to. And none of us are more special than another. And maybe that's why I was given this life mission to do this work, because I've always had that deep understanding of it isn't about me. For me, in that moment with the teacher, what the conversation was is that I was scared. I didn't want to step into what I was being asked to do.
That makes sense.
For me, it was the fear of I'm too young. What the hell do I know? And he was like, it's not for you to judge.
Right.
You're being told to do this. Do it.
Yeah.
It took the faith of, somebody I admire a lot is Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc had a lot of courage to listen. She knew that God was speaking to her. I mean, imagine if I say to people, I speak to God, people freak out, but it's the truth. I speak to God, you speak to God. God is always speaking, and it's natural, and it's our natural birthright. The only difference is I allow it. There's a powerful quote from Rumi that says, our task is not to seek love, but to seek the barriers within us that keep us from receiving love. God is love. The universe is love.
Mm-hmm.
If I seek the boundaries within myself, the doubts, the lack of faith, the lack of trust, and I deal with it and I face it, then I am able to trust what I already know innately, which is that I am connected to the divine and that the divine is connected to me, and it speaks all the time. There is no hierarchy. There is no hierarchy. There is just a oneness, a presence that is aware of everything under its creation and speaks and guards its creation.
That's so interesting. That's really beautifully said. And I love Rumi, I have to say. We found an incredible children's book at the library that explains his life. And my kids are infatuated. Absolutely.
I love Rumi.
Obsessed.
I love his work.
Yes.
I am obsessed with the way that particularly dancing for God, connecting as we dance to connect to God. I mean, the deep spiritual practices that you can go into, what has deepened my work is understanding that I have this continuous dialogue with God, this continuous dialogue with the universe itself, with the angels, and that this is an everyday job. This is 24/7. There isn't like a moment when I'm like not a psychic or not a spiritual person. I always am. I'm always talking to the angels. I always see them. I hear them. Like they're there.
Yeah. And that makes so much sense. And I have like, my curiosity is going to get the best of me here, but like, what do they look like? What do they sound like? I mean, are they?
Well, it's interesting because my first experiences with them was like people, but I know this is going to sound so weird, but it's the truth. I couldn't see their face.
Yeah. Yeah.
All I could see was from the neck down,
Mhm.
and I could see them standing in front of me. So when I began my sessions, my readings, I used to do them at a local store. And so the people would come in and they would sit in front of me and they would stand behind them and I could see them and I could see just from down here and I knew that they were standing there. Till one day I had a client come in and she said something like, I want to know what the angel really looks like. Then the angel turned into light and I saw them as light. And I was like, oh my God, they are pure light. This angel was purple and blue and white. And they had a sound to them, which I believe is their language. So when people ask me, what are their names? They don't have names because they don't have a sense of self. The only angels that I have found that answer to a name are the 3 archangels, and I've only seen 3 archangels. People out there that mention that there are more archangels, that has never been my experience. I've only seen 3, and the 3 that are mentioned know the holy books, which are Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and Archangel Gabriel, and their name means their level, not their level, their job title, their job title.
Okay.
Like Archangel Michael is he who is God's right hand. Archangel Raphael, he who heals like God. Archangel Gabriel, he who communicates with God. So they are all like it's their title. Okay. By the way, I also want to kind of mention this isn't about religion and this isn't about any specific I don't belong to any religion. I mean, I was raised Catholic, but I also practice Buddhism and I also like Rumi's work. I consider myself a student of truth.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really beautifully said.
A student of truth, and whatever truth, student of truth and love, which is what I believe God is, truth and love. That I'm placed whatever I need, whatever tools I need, whatever information I need in order to serve and in order to do my highest purpose. I was lucky one day to see my my guardian angel, because that one I don't usually see. And I saw her, and it was interesting because I saw her folding something. And when I saw her, what I saw was absolute humility. And there was this sense of deep service with no sense of anything to gain and anything to lose, but just this love, this absolute love and compassion and service to grace for us. I don't have words to explain that.
Yeah, I can feel it though in the way that you're speaking about it. Absolutely. Yeah, I can almost see it. Just to kind of back it up a minute, we all have angels.
Yes.
That surround us.
Everything and everyone that is sentient.
Yes.
They just said also, if I may, locations also have angels. They said, because locations have been asked to be protected by the divine. So there are angels. Like they're showing me the holy places. They have angels right on top of them.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, how interesting. Okay, so those would be holy lands, holy spaces.
There are many holy lands, including in nature, because they're showing me a spot in nature. So there are many.
Okay, so not just the traditional ones you might think like the Vatican.
It's interesting you said the Vatican because that was the first one I saw. Then I saw mosque, and then I saw nature. So yeah, there are more than.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do you, if you're, does everyone get like, here's your allotment, here are 4 angels for you?
4 is not better than 3, not 1.
Okay.
Well, let me ask them. If you want to ask them questions.
Yeah, let's ask. Let's
do it.
Yeah.
Let's bring it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what would you want to ask them? So repeat.
Does everyone have like
Let me explain also, if I may, I'm sorry,
please,
to people how I work. I consider myself kind of like an angel interpreter. I'm not involved when you're going to be asking questions. So when you're asking questions, I'm not here. I'm just...
You're a channel.
I don't like the word channel because channel implies that I'm letting them come into my body. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
They're just standing behind me and I'm listening. I'm telling you what I'm hearing. So that's why the angel interpreter, like in the UN.
Yes.
Like when people, exactly that.
Okay. Got it. That makes sense. Okay. Cool. So then my first question would be, does everyone have a certain set of, like, everyone gets one guardian angel, one angel to help them in parenthood and one in career? And like, do you have different jobs, kind of like how you mentioned Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel have different jobs? Do we have certain types of angels?
You're right in that there is a guardian angel for all sentient beings, as has already been said. There is a written amount of angels, angels with specific occupations and gifts, serving humanity as a whole. There are angels that protect and guide art, the development of art, the development of medicine, the development of the land. There are angels protecting the well-being of the earth itself and the evolution of the earth itself across time and space.
Got it. So if you're a doctor and your friend is a doctor, you might have an angel that's helping both of you. They're not just for one person.
Well, what they're showing me when you're saying that is I see an operation and the angels surrounding not only the angel, but the person that's being operated and the person that are involved there. But also there's another angel that guards the space itself.
Okay.
The hospital itself. In addition to people from the other side. So our loved ones are not our guardian angels. That's sometimes people tend to think that.
Sure.
The angels are in a specific field of the heavens, and the people that have crossed are in a specific field of the heavens.
Huh. Interesting. All right. So that makes sense from that standpoint.
Let me share this story because this might be fun.
Okay.
This might be fun. I remember the first time I saw heaven, and I was nice and awake, and I got to share that story.
Yes.
So I was giving readings at that local store that I used to, and I had a mother come in. Such a sad story. Her daughter was killed. Yeah. Her daughter came in. That was the first time that I had a mediumship kind of experience, because I normally speak to angels. I don't speak to people that have crossed, but if they show up, I listen, I talk. And so she showed up, and the angels, there were two angels with her, and they were showing me what had happened to her. And then she said, "Tell my mom where I am." And she pointed above her, and she opened up the ceiling, and I could see the heavens. And all I felt was this, oh my God, there are no words to describe this grace, this peace, this lifting up of all the burdens. There was just this calm and love, and there are no words to describe that. Like it was just, imagine no worries, no stress, no anxiety, no nothing. It was just this peace. And she said, "Tell my mom where I am." And I just started bawling. I started crying because I was like, how can I describe that? And it was the first time in my life that I remember feeling, I wish I could give you what I can see right now. I wish that you could like feel what I feel and see what I see. And I mean, every time I think about it, it makes me cry. Like,
I know, yeah.
To see her suffering when this is where we go.
Right.
And we all go there. We go home. We go home to a place of peace.
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
I'm not really sure if it really looks like that. It might be that they just the way that they presented themselves to me as humans when they're purely light. I'm pretty sure it's just a space of light from what I understood from them afterwards. But in that moment, I literally saw grass, fields of grass, and felt the waves of peace coming, streaming down the space. And I was just, so I'm not scared of dying.
No, how could you be after seeing that? I'm like,
this is where we go. I don't want to be here. I want to go up there.
Yeah, exactly.
But then they play with me, and they're like, "There's no chocolate up there." So I'm like, ugh.
Like, all right, well, okay. I will have a few bars of chocolate, and then I'm ready to go. Get my ticket ready, right? Yeah, that makes so much sense, because I think, like, I know when my grandfather passed away, at one point he said, "It's okay. I'm ready to go. You know, I'm ready." And it's like it's almost like they're getting a taste of that peace before they really dive into it, right? And that's a beautiful thing. So, oh, wow. I love that story. And I have to say that my oldest, Harrison, asked me, I was like, "Hey, baby, do you have any questions you want me to ask Anna?" And he was like, "Ask her what do angels look like? And what does it look like?" And he goes, "Up there," and points up.
You see, and so his answers got clear.
So
up there is just, that was the other piece. When I was learning Reiki with a teacher of mine, God bless her in the heavens now. But I remember when I was doing healing the first time, seeing the beginnings of heaven, and it was just layers of light. And on the layers of light, there were all these angels in the circles singing. all leading into the highest light, which is where God was. So I went, I think it was the Smithsonian or the Metropolitan, one of the two, and there was a painting there, like a really old painting from like the 1700s, 1800s, something like that. And it looked exactly like what I had seen. And I was
Oh,
like, oh
wow.
my God, whoever this guy is, he saw what I saw. It's so back then and now.
The
So
same.
it's, of course it is. But
Hmm.
it was just like, oh my God, there's another human being having the same experience as me.
Hmm.
Remember, I mean, when I grew up with this, there wasn't other people like me, that I could speak
Yeah,
to or be connected
sure.
to. So it was quite a journey.
I'm sure it was. I mean, it's great to
Yeah.
sit here now and think like, okay, I know a lot of people who are like this, but yeah, at that stage in life, it's a very
Yeah.
can be very isolating. I've heard other people who have these type of gifts speak, and they do say that too. It is a little challenging, and everyone gets their challenge in life, I think,
Yes, of
right?
course.
And
Yeah.
so, some of us when we're young, and some of us when we're old. But that's such a beautiful description of heaven, right? I mean, just absolutely incredible. So this kind of takes me to my next question about angels, and that is, like, how did they choose us? Do we choose them? Is this like some sort of
This is
karmic soul
chosen before
contract?
birth, I heard. This is
It's
chosen before
chosen
birth.
before birth. Okay. And they're chosen, is it to help us with our purpose and our mission here?
God sees the higher plan and sees where we fit in the higher plan.
Mm. And these are our guides and our helpers. Okay. Great. So here's my question.
Follow your joy if you
Oh,
don't know where to start, I heard them
oh,
say. Follow
beautiful.
your joy if you don't know where to start. Joy is at the heart. The heart
Yeah.
is the one that guides you to your true path.
That makes sense. I think that's hard I think that's one of those things that makes a lot of sense when you say it, but to put it into practice is quite a challenge.
Well, it requires to be still and it requires the commitment to make the time to listen.
Oof, being
It's not a
still.
challenge, it's a choice.
Ugh, right. I
I
know.
know it sucks to hear that
I
from them,
know
but it's the truth.
you're always telling me the crap that I
It's
don't
a
want to
choice.
hear. No, I didn't want to hear this.
Oh,
I
girl,
know.
imagine me living with it.
I know.
Imagine me.
It's so true though.
You have no idea
Yeah,
what
you
it's
can't
like.
hide. That's true. You can't hide.
No,
Oh
I
my
can't
gosh.
hide. I'm looking at them all the time. They're always
Mm.
watching me. When I'm doing something wrong, I see it and they show it to me. And they're like, is this what you want to do?
Wow.
And I have a lot of fun stories just because I like people to also get an experience of what it's like
Yeah.
to be in two worlds. Because I really
Mm.
consider myself to live in two worlds. I live in
Yeah.
their world and I live in this
Yeah.
world.
The seen and the
And when
unseen. Hmm.
and when you spoke of the veil, yeah, I live between both.
Yeah.
And when I was getting married, this is a fun story.
Okay.
On the day of my wedding, I was told this isn't it by them.
Oh, oh no. Oh
Yeah. And
no.
so my guardian angels, well, it was one of the bigger angels, one of the, there's our guardian angels, and then there's angels that talk about a divine plan.
Mm.
And so it was one of the divine plan angels. And they said, this isn't it, basically, they said to me. And so I was like, oh, now you tell me. And they're like, you always knew.
Of
They
course you
said,
did.
you always
Right.
knew. But I said, but I'm going to go with it.
Hmm.
And so I went with it, and it was a wonderful spiritual lesson of always listen to the intuition as soon as you get it,
Yeah.
that you know. And so now I listen 100% to it. Like if I'm told, like I was recently told, stop drinking sodas. So I
Hmm.
gave up sodas when Lent came about. I was like, okay, I'm not going to do it. You keep
Hmm.
telling me not to. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do it. So we human beings receive intuitive hits, God knowings, inner wisdom
Hmm.
all the time.
Hmm.
And we choose to look away from it. And that's all right. We have free will. You can wait and do it later. I was told about the soda thing, oh my God, years ago.
Hmm.
And they literally showed me this is what it does. This is why you shouldn't be doing it. Da 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 da. And I, of course, because I'm stubborn, I did it anyways. Just like I was stubborn, I got married anyways.
Yes.
At the time, God bless his soul. But it's we're still human, and so it's that marriage of human and soul, that being in the two worlds, that we must create a bridge, and that's really what the angels
Yeah.
give us an opportunity to do, is create a bridge where we can learn to live as our souls on earth. And that's
Yeah.
been the gift for me, being a person in between two worlds, that I am more aware of the choice
Yeah.
and that I can make more often that choice.
That makes
to
sense.
catch myself and be like, oh, there I go being Anna, earthly Anna.
Earthly Anna. Exactly. Exactly. We need to
Yeah.
be the bridge Anna. Yeah. That makes sense. Oh my gosh. That makes so much sense. But, if someone is like, okay, great. I'm in, I want to start leading my life based on an intuition. But how do you know? Because there's a lot of like what will happen in a lot of instances, I think, is you get a hit not to do something. Okay, don't go to that store. Don't go to this. Okay, and then something bad happens over there. And you're like, oh, thank goodness I listened to that intuition. But then you start doubting it. Like the further away from the event you get, you're like, did that really happen? Is it all in my head? And we start to encroach with self-doubt. So what's the way to build up your intuition muscle?
How would you answer that before we go there?
Yeah, I think you just have to trust it, and you continuously trust it. And the more you do it, the stronger that muscle gets.
You got it?
Yeah, that was my thought as well.
Good job.
But it is
So
difficult, right?
you like how they turn it on you?
Yeah,
They'll do that.
yeah,
They'll be like, the answer to that.
exactly.
So the other piece is this: start with questioning your thoughts. Start with figuring out, are these your thoughts, or are these, like, for example, give me a good example. The things you like, whatever that might be, to begin to question, is it that I really like it, or is it that I think I should like it? Is it that society's telling me to like it? Is it that my parents are telling me to like it? All of us innately know what is right for us.
Right.
And it's interesting that in hindsight, we can always tell. And it's because there is no longer distractions. There is no longer the voices of other people or of society or even of who we think we are.
Yeah.
Instead of really listening to who we truly are. The heart is the place to begin. The gut feeling, when you're in love, for example, nobody tells you you're in love. You just know it.
Right.
And it's a wisdom that comes in through and through from within you. You see somebody and you recognize them from a past life and you're like, I don't know why you look so familiar, but you do. I know you and you know me. Like when you have telepathy with somebody, telepathy is absolutely natural.
Yes.
Especially with parents and kids. Oh my God. Like you can feel.
You can.
Yeah. And so that part of you that knows when you are in love, that's the same part that knows all wisdom because God lives there. Yeah. Truth lives there. So if you can learn to access more of that space, this nonverbal knowingness in more moments. So let's say when you're getting those intuitive hits, begin to test them. Begin to notice more. Oh, I see why. And where did I feel it in my body? And how did I know that that was right for me? You always know what's right for you. Yeah. We just do. And we could try to lie to ourselves. We can try to hide it. We can try to let other people guide our choices. Sometimes what occurs is that we make mistakes. And so then we stop trusting our judgment.
Yes.
We start second guessing our judgment because we've made mistakes. And so the work then begins to be, may I forgive myself, universe. Help me forgive myself for the choices that I've made so that I may trust myself to make better choices in the future. So that I may trust my intuition and my inner knowingness and my inner guidance. You can ask them for signs. You can ask them for dreams. You can ask them to show you that they are with you. You can ask to feel them. You feel them. You can sense them watching you.
Yeah.
It's the truth, but then your head comes in and it's like, oh my God, is it real? Is it not? And it's because you've been taught to listen to the world around you more than you listen to your inner wisdom. Now, you know what is best for you. And it's about learning to trust you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the times that you and I were talking that was so helpful for me was maybe about 2 years ago, but a lot of things were going on. It was like my business was getting totally shellacked. We had a fire in our house. And I remember being like, this is kind of a lot of crap that's been like dished out. Why don't I feel like my whole world is actually crumbling? I actually don't feel that way at all. I think I should feel panicked, but I don't. I feel totally relaxed and totally stable.
So you feel that peace that you're feeling even as you're speaking to me?
Mm-hmm.
You see that when you tap into that space, how eternal it feels, how
Yes.
deep it feels?
Yes.
That's your soul.
Oh,
Feel that, feel that,
yeah.
feel that, feel that. Feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about talking for a moment. I know that you're being recorded and all, but this is bigger than that. You
Mm-hmm.
feel in your heart that space, that's where your soul resides.
Okay, guys, I'm going to interrupt just 1 minute here so I can tell you what's actually going on in this particular moment. So I am feeling a very strong, beautiful energy radiating in my heart center. And it's just so grounded and so beautiful. And the image that comes to mind when I'm doing this is this vast body of water. It's so vast that it cannot be contained, but it's beautiful and it's overwhelmingly calm and peaceful. And it's a midnight blue, not in like a dark, scary way, but in a primordial waters, center of all creation way. And it's such a beautiful energy. So I hope that helps describe what I'm feeling in this moment. Now back to the conversation.
Just get used to what it feels like instead of analyzing it, instead of letting the fear kind of come in and try to determine what is this? Can I trust this? Trust it.
Beautiful, calm feeling. Mm-hmm.
That's God. That's your soul.
Ah, yeah.
That's heaven.
Wow. Yeah, that's nice. I
It's
hope everyone feels
all
this.
the same space. You got it.
Yeah, I got it. I totally got it. That makes so much sense.
High five, angels.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I
Thank
always give
you.
high fives when we're like on it. We're like, let's do this. Good job.
Well, look, you're a team, right? You got to celebrate.
Hell yeah, we all are a team when we're together in a session. So,
Yes. Yes,
no.
that is so, and that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. Yeah. And you can feel it, right? I think that's one of the
Yep.
things when you're like, if we're in a session and you are talking to my angels, for example, if you say something, I can feel it. When it hits in my body, I know it to be true, right?
Well, yeah, because I work with them to make sure.
Yeah.
So, our larger purpose, my working with them and them working with me, is that you guys learn to no longer depend on somebody like me.
Exactly.
That's the dream, is that someday every single human being walk around connected to their angels, but also trusting that they have to live their life.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. You're
And
not
knowing
a
that we can
crutch. Yeah.
Exactly. Think of it like a computer. You have access to the computer, you have access to the spiritual Google, but you don't have to live attached to it.
Yes. Yeah. That makes so much sense. And I know where I've found a lot of like solace and help in our work is when I am, maybe my emotions are too strong, or I feel like a decision that I have to make is such a big one that affects so many people that I want to be sure. You know what I mean? I want to talk it out. I want to get out of my head. And sometimes when I am chatting with you, I can get into that knowing space easier. It's almost like you help remove all the noise.
They help.
Yes, exactly. They help remove the noise. And once you start to clear that out consistently, you do build things, because even since you and I have been working together and I've been developing my spiritual practice, like I lay in bed at night when I'm putting my kids to sleep. We've done our thing, right? We've brushed our teeth, we've gotten our pajamas on, we've read the book, we've said our prayers, and I'm laying there in the dark because I have to be silent so they can fall asleep. And that's my spiritual time. I've carved that out to be my time for like me to connect with the divine. And the things that happen, even if it's only 5 minutes, the things that happen in that space of time are wild. I mean, I can feel them on my crown chakra, sending energy. I can feel them activating my third eye, expanding my heart. Like I feel them in my dreams, in my dream states sometimes. And it's wild because you say it out loud and it almost takes away the impact of it, because it is so profound what you could feel in those moments. And I know even as I'm speaking, my hands are so activated. It's like, you just know, because you're like, how do I feel energy coming into my head?
Yep.
How is that right? And you're like, well, this is what it is. And I'm like, yes, give me more of it. How much of this can I handle? I'll take it all. Thank you.
And the other piece might be to begin to ask what is in alignment with my soul and what is in alignment with the higher purpose of me. So to give an example of that, a couple of years ago, I got really into pottery.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, all of a sudden I got really into it. And I was like, I'm going to move to this place and I'm going to go study 100% pottery and I'm going to become a potter. And the angels laughed at me and they said, Ana Maria, in your case, the universe doesn't need more plates. And I just started cracking up with them. And they said, wait a minute, that is not your life purpose. They said, come back, child. Where are you going? You were made for this. So they helped me to realize. So that's a wonderful example of, there's that Anna, the human Anna, that wants to have more fun in her work. Because when I come into the sessions, I let go and I just let them do the work. And so they said, why do you leave? Stay and be present. Stay fully here with us and we'll have fun together. And so I started doing that, and then it just became fun again. And it was no more about, I felt my heart open even wider. I felt my purpose fully come back. And so there's moments like that when we as human beings may walk away from our calling because we let the ego kind of get in the way. And its ideas of what we think our purpose can be or should be. It's very important to always be guided back to, like, okay, what is my real actual calling? Why am I really here? And we come back to the premise at the very beginning of our session, which was know thyself, know who you are. When we look at the seed of a tree, everything within the oak tree seed is in the seed. And it just needs the water and it needs the earth, but it's programmed in there. We are no different than nature. Everything inside the egg knows that it will become a chicken. Everything inside the little seed knows that it will become an oak tree. And so it's just a matter of finding the seed and letting the seed guide the programming out of you. And the way to know that is, one method might be to look at your whole life and look at what has been the theme and the story and what has always felt right and natural and part of me. What do people always reflect back to me about who I am? What do I keep coming back to every time? I would always come back to spirituality. I would always come back to talking to the stars. I would always come to meditating for hours when I was a kid. Like, this is what I was made for.
Yeah.
Not pottery.
Not pottery. No, I feel like this is probably a more fun thing in the end of the day. I mean, I love pottery, but like, this is also fantastic.
This is my calling. And I loved them for like telling me that. They were like, and they were so funny about it. They were like, we don't need more plates.
But I think a lot of people are struggling with that, though, of like, hey, I would love to follow my calling. I follow my calling. I just don't know what it is. Like, I'm having trouble figuring that out. And even in myself, I've spent a lot of time in the last 2 years looking and figuring it out. And I think what keeps coming up or coming back to, and this could just be the beginning of it, but where I'm at with it now is like, it's all about creating things. And I don't mean
That's
like
right.
with my hands specifically. I'm like creating a new way to do this. We're trying this. Like,
and your voice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and doing things exactly like how you're doing now. It puts you in a position to be a leader and a teacher and a guide.
Yes.
Which is really what your heart wants to be doing. You're doing it right now.
I am. I'm trying. Yeah. But I think
you're doing it, not try. There's do or do not.
Yes.
You're doing it.
Yoda.
And so, yes, Yoda, totally. You know me with Star Wars.
I know, right? I totally agree. But I think I bring that up because the reality is like your purpose isn't just to be a doctor or an accountant, right? That's that's a vocation, right? That's a way to express it. But your purpose is more general, right? It's how you show up and how you bring it to life is up to you ultimately.
Well, if I may, your purpose can be to be a mom in a lifetime.
Yes.
And you would know that through and through. When you ask somebody who's living their purpose as a mother, for example, as a stay-home mother, all they will speak about is their kids, and their face will light up. And there will be this knowingness within them that this is what I was made for. I remember in one of my sessions, I had somebody like that. And I recall when the angels show her what she's done. And then I saw lifetime after lifetime after lifetime ahead of her with all these lines of all the trees of life that got illuminated by her doing, and how her love spread across time and space from grandchild to grandchild. It was just like, yes, it's meaningful. We're here to help each other out. I mean, it really boils down to that. We're here to help and to love and to inspire and to create and to be happy, joyful beings. If you're not happy and you're not joyful, start there. Right. What truly makes me happy? When I'm doing this, like really doing it with them, like nothing's missing. I remember I had a person once asked me when I started doing my career, she's like, what would you do if you won the lottery? And I literally, without even thinking about it, I said, I would still do this. And I was surprised at that myself. I was even surprised at that because I was like, it just came from my heart.
Yeah.
So it's when I feel them and sense them and see them all around everything, then it's just like, what are you talking about? Plates. There's no plates.
Yes.
No, seriously.
Right.
Like they're, but I love because they gave me a one-on-one spiritual lesson on what you're going through of the questioning of, is this for me? Is that for me? And so when it happened, so this might be helpful. When I meditated on it, on why it actually occurred, what I began to notice is that I was spending too much time on my ego aspect of self, my personality aspect of self. I was doing more than being. I wasn't feeling my heart space because at the time I was also going through a difficult emotional period. So I was more disconnected from my inner wisdom. But when I came back to my inner wisdom and I came back to Anna Maria and her purpose, it's clear.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's no doubt. Like,
Yes.
this
Yeah.
is it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that even transitions to like the last thing I wanted to talk to you about was like, for me, especially as I've been on this journey, I have used tried so many different tools and modalities and things, and astrology always hits for me, right? It always hits for me. So I want to ask you two things. One,
What does it mean it always hits for you? Does
it
that mean?
hits for, that means it's a language of the universe that makes sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think about like each of us being individual and unique. And the operator in my brain is like, how do you scale individuality? That sounds very challenging. However, if you are to create something unique every second of every minute based on where the planets are lined up and how the cosmos are, and you bring life into the earth based on this, well, that makes sense. Of course, you could do that forever, right? You could scale that. That doesn't require a wood carver to carve every little person and do all this stuff. That's a lot of work. When you bring people in for purpose and personality and to be who they are and to be so different, you can do that on a scale if you use astrology as a map for that. That's the way that I look at it.
Tell us more about the map that you see. I want to understand your question.
Yeah.
And what you're, because what I'm being shown by them is there's more they want you to explore as you're speaking. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the map is like, okay, if I guess for me, if I look at my chart and I look at like I call them 4 is what I look at now. So my sun, my moon, my rising, and my Venus. When I started looking into these things, something happened for me. That really sort of moved the needle. So it allowed me to accept myself and all these things that are perceived as different from other people, good or bad. Like it allowed me to understand why I am the way I am, why I think about things the way I think about them, why I do certain things. And it gives you almost this permission to feel validated in that. And then I said, okay, let me turn and look at my partner, my children, my family, my friends. And then you start to see the uniqueness in everyone and you see how it's so perfect and so good. And it's not just this one way to do things. And if you don't get up at 5 a.m. and do these 50 things before the sun rises, you're a failure. It's none of that. If you're not a mom who's like cooking every meal and doing this and doing all that, then you're a failure. It's like, no. There's more than one way to skin the cat. Right. And we all have a different gift, a different unique purpose, and we all have a different way to explore it. And we all have different lessons to learn here. So there's nothing wrong with the way that I do things. There's nothing wrong with the way you do things, the way we do things. In fact, when we do what we do, the way we want to do it, that's what brings us all up.
That's right. Good. And so there are all these tools available to us in the universe. That's what they were showing me with that. And they wanted you to really anchor deeper into what you were saying so you could feel inside of you the truth as it's starting to emerge about what that connection is for you. So the universe will place tools in our path to help us find ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what astrology sounds like to me did for you. It helped you find what does the ascendant mean? What does the sun? What does the moon? What does Venus mean in relationship to who I am and who I am choosing to become?
Yes, exactly.
And so brought in a sense of clarity about who you are.
Yeah.
And in that, it brought in a sense of curiosity about who's my child and who's my husband and, and all this other stuff. Astrology can be a tool, just like a good book can be, just like art can be, just like dance can be, of recognizing that connection between the self, the little self, and the big self. Between where it's like a doorway to help you find your purpose, to help you find your truth. But there are many doorways. And you're right, there is no wrong or right doorway. There is just what doorway is calling to you at that time.
Exactly.
And what like when you're in front of a large library, which book do I want to read today? There's a purpose for that book touching you at that moment in time. But something else in regards to astrology. Astrology is a way of speaking to God. In one of the holy books, for example, it says, and the planets and signs, and the planets and stars were created as signs. That's in the Bible.
Oh.
And as signs of what? As signs of conversation with the universe, a dialogue. It's written in the stars, we often say.
It's written in the stars.
There's a language, you're right, that is constantly being spoken to us from the sky. There's a wonderful technique that I also work with that's called horary in astrology. And horary is a way of analyzing the moment that a question is asked, the moment that a client comes in, the moment that an idea begins, the moment that we began this podcast. There is an answer from the universe about that inception moment, about that moment of a beginning. And it tells the whole story of where it's going to be. And it's fascinating where, again, we come back to the seed. Inside the seed is all that it will become.
Yes.
Of course, the environment can influence it. Maybe like a branch might grow this way or a branch might grow that way. But its true nature, its true essence remains untouched because that is part of the greater universe. So same thing with astrology, the fact that the universe itself speaking back to you. God, universe, speaks back to us in every way, through astrology, through a book, through the pottery. When I would have moments of connection that I'm like, ooh, the angels are here with me and they're guiding my hands and we're making something together. And there is so many tools, so many ways, so many languages, so many books that the universe will put across in front of us saying, do you want to come this way? Do you want to come this way? Do you want to come this way? Any path, any doorway will lead you back into your truth. And then it's just a matter of our choice. Do I want to do more of this or do I want to be more of that? Which tool helps me most express what I am becoming, what is being guided from the depths of me to be? And, one thing that they do tell me with you, it's a lot about writing and speaking.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
teaching. You have a voice that is beyond your own voice. And the more you're able to trust that, the more it will open up doors for you because it's no longer about you and what you think the plan is, but where your voice is guiding you to do. Because they keep showing me your voice extending like light out into the world.
Yeah.
So whatever you choose to say, but really from that place of connection.
Yes.
And that's the thing. It's what's going to help you. I love the fact that they brought in the pottery thing. What's going to really help you come from that space of what that seed is all about. Yeah, sure, I could have gone with the pottery thing, but that's not really. It would have limited the expression of the reason for my being here on earth. I came through prayer into this world, and that makes a lot of sense to me because I lead with that understanding that I am in this conversation.
Yes.
In this dialogue with the universe, and that all of us are an answered prayer somewhere in our parents' heart, and somewhere in the universe's heart. And that the deep understanding of when I was told by them, each one of you is like a little droplet in the ocean, but so unique that it will never be repeated again across time and space. And if you really knew the value of that, there will never be a Jessica. Repeat it again across time and space. And it is your job to be Jessica and to get to know who is Jessica. And so you will seek the answers in the outer world, But ultimately, the answer is going to come from within. And once you find it, it's like love. You just know it. This is who I am.
Yes.
And it will resonate. I mean, you'll feel it in your body like this. When I taught a meditation class the first time after that lady in the bus, gave me the opportunity to do that, I remember feeling when I was guiding the meditations that it wasn't me. It was the angel speaking, bringing healing to these people. And I was like, this is what I am meant to be doing.
That's beautiful.
I'm a channel, like how you said. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. I mean, there is, especially for me as a recovering perfectionist, I feel like understanding that there is no perfect path. There are only choices, that we.
And that your path is perfect, Jessica.
Also that. Yes, exactly.
But really, really knowing that.
Yeah, I think so.
That even the choices that don't fit.
Exactly. And knowing that it's perfect because it's already sort of written in the stars, right? It's not perfect because I need to overanalyze it. And I need to make sure I'm doing all of these things to make sure that it's on the right path. And I'm using myself as an example, but I'm obviously speaking for everyone, right? Knowing that that's already there. You just have to follow it. The hard work is done. The path has been laid. You just need to show up and follow the path to the best of your ability.
Correct. And something to keep in mind, from what I recall from your chart, from your astrological chart, you are made to be a thinker.
Yes.
You are made to analyze and to perfect.
Yes.
So let that be part of the journey. I am a perfectionist. I like things to be done right.
Yeah.
I like to think and I like to figure things out and I like to examine and I like to be curious. And when you start embracing that, and I may add, invite the soul to come in, watch how it changes, because you'll come up with a way of, I think, play with that.
Yeah.
Play with that, because they keep showing me like, let the, how would you explain that? So, because they're showing me like me with creativity, for example. I like to draw, I like to paint, I like to write, I like to make music, I like to sing. And so it's in the moments when I'm letting the personality do this, not letting, but that's allowed, that this being expressed through me, then I can also invite this higher, deeper wisdom within me to join the dance. Then it's this collaboration between the deeper self, the soul self, and you. So how do we interpret that in like lay language? Is when I'm following my heart and I'm listening to my mind and I'm working with both of them, there is this mesh that occurs.
Yeah.
When you felt that deep calm, that deep quiet, if you stay there, can you also bring in that state of the mind of active curiosity and active thinking? Let them both be there.
Yeah.
You can feel that, yes? When you let them both be there, then there is this integration. Not one is better than another. You felt it. But not one is better than another. Those are called transmissions between them and us.
Yeah.
So they are transmitting. When I'm in session with people, they will transmit healing and wisdom just like this. Yeah.
I love that.
And that's their way of letting you know this is for real. They're there with you.
Yeah. And I need that. I need the physical feeling of something. It's,
agreed. Agreed.
It makes it takes it out of my mind and into my body. And that's where I play best, I think.
Notice what you just said. So you need to be in your body in order to feel them more. In order to feel that space of peace. What the gift that they gave you today was of feeling your soul, like for real, in a physical state of awareness. Now you know. Now you can always go back to that space.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Once
it's
you
a matter
feel
of practicing it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Once you allow it.
Yes. Oh yeah.
If you allowed it. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's a great way to put it. Oh my goodness. Okay. I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we could stay here for hours.
I could literally stay here for hours. I know. This is why this needs to be serious and not just a one-off. Okay. So you said when we were figuring this podcast time and date out, you said you looked at, the astrology to see why. And you said, okay, you know what, May 26th. And it's not like you said, hey, this day, or this day. You said, can you do May 26th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern?
So that's called an electional chart. And that's when you choose the exact time, place, location, timing of everything in order for something to happen.
Beautiful. So that's our oak tree seed that we're planting.
Yes, that's right.
Here.
So you can create consciously the seed. I particularly don't like to do that too often, except that I knew that this was our first time together. And I actually also asked him, can I do that?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to manipulate. I want the universe to choose.
Right.
But I was specifically told, choose.
Choose. Yeah.
And when I chose it, it was interesting because it matches your chart in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so like them. Like,
yes.
You know, so when I work with astrology, I work with them. I work with the angels. So my work is a little bit different from other people when it comes to astrology and that. I've been studying astrology, I want to say since 2010, officially. And I mean, I consider myself a student. I will always be a student because I continue to learn. When I was first starting learning astrology, it was very mental for me. I had a little bit of difficulty with that because I don't usually think. My mind is very quiet because I'm always talking to them and they're always talking to me. So it's very different. I had a friend of mine that gave me her chart. And I remember sitting across from her, and all of a sudden the chart started moving. And it became circles after circles after circles after circles after circles. It was like a clock. And it was a clock that just kept, like it was a living clock. And the clock could speak, and I could hear it. And I remember not even looking at the symbols anymore. And I just remember hearing. And I kept telling her what I kept hearing. Oh, that's interesting. And they said, that's the music of the spheres. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, the universe is literally speaking. That's why I said it's just a tool. Oh, wow, I could do it through the chart, or I could do it through them talking. I mean, I remember when I read a palm the first time, the palm just started talking. Like the universe finds a way to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's just, how are you willing to listen?
Yes, exactly.
So astrology is just another way of listening to God.
Yeah.
Universe, having a dialogue with them. When a genuine question is asked, when I was speaking about horary, the answer comes. The universe knows when we're like really asking a question or we're just playing.
Yes. Yes.
You know? And so that might be some advice that I can give to those out there that are tarot readers and healers and spiritual people in this world too, is get very serious about the questions and get very truthful with yourself if you want an answer, because you will get an answer, and listen to the answer the first time.
Exactly. I think that makes so much sense. And that's the magic of the universe.
I want to thank you before we go into anything else for your candidness and for your willingness to share what this experience was like for you, because I figured that the angels would do this like a session.
Yeah.
And so I knew that they would be doing like healing work on you and guiding you as well, because I know that you're a teacher and a guide to others, and that you, as I do, use ourselves as tools to the universe to use us for what the universe sees fit. And I want to say, like, let this be a reminder that you are a teacher and a guide, and that there is so much more beauty that will come out of the work that you're just beginning to do. So
yes, well, thank you for that acknowledgement. That was really beautiful, and thank you for your time too, because I know we could talk for hours and hours and hours.
Is there anything else you wanted to ask?
I don't think so. I think really that was.
We're ending at 444, by the way.
Beautiful.
The angel's number.
It for me. Call it now. That's the magic.
I know, that's them.
That is the magic.
Oh. We've reclaimed the magic.
We've reclaimed the magic today, and we're going to do it again many, many times.
Anytime.
Ana Maria Pineda, thank you.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you.